This is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. It's a somber night here in eastern Kentucky as the body of a well-known civil servant comes back home. Law enforcement from multiple agencies escorted the body of Donald Loren Holliday back to Perry County. He was killed in a crash in Clay County yesterday. This is video of them coming in. He served many roles, including as a member of Governor Matt Bevin's executive detail. Phil Pendleton has more on the governor's emotional goodbye.
Community. And yesterday,
Governor Bevin was in Perry County Wednesday to announce a lot of new jobs, but at the end of his remarks, the governor had a difficult time talking about a man who meant a lot to him, who died in a crash Tuesday.
there was a guy who was a young man in the grand scheme of things, older than some in this room, but younger than many of us.
43-year-old Donald Doc Loren Holliday died Tuesday when his truck and a commercial vehicle collided on the Hal Rogers Parkway in Clay County.
It's tough to talk about. A good man. A man that would have given you the shirt off his back.
Governor Bevin says what makes this even more tragic is when it happened.
And to lose his life the day before his birthday here in this community, it's a real blow. To my family, he was a good friend and a good man, and he will be greatly missed.
Holliday was part of Bevin's detail and had retired from state police. He was also the first school resource officer for Jackson Police.
But I just encourage you, please, just put your arms around his family.
Specifically mentioning Holliday's son.
His young son, Bennett. He's a great kid.
Holliday started with the Harlan State Police Post and worked his way to be on the governor's detail from 2016 to 2017. Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Holliday also worked with Hazard Police and the Perry County Sheriff's Office.
Well, it was another very warm day here in the mountains, but I promise a cool down is on the way. We've seen that mixture of sun and clouds throughout the day. You'll notice that along Interstate 64 with that sun setting, still dealing with a few of those clouds, but overall those drier conditions. And looking at satellite and radar, like you can really see those a little bit of those clouds and very, very isolated rain chances. I think areas down into Laurel County and Knox County maybe got a stray chance or two. Most of us stayed on the drier side. Temperatures right now into those low to mid 70s, still pretty warm down into London at 78. 75 in Somerset, 75 into Jackson and Pikeville as well. Dew points to upper 60s, lower 70s, making it feel pretty muggy out there, but check out those dew points starting to fall out into parts of Lexington and Louisville, and that's because that cold front is just now making its way through the mountains. Now for tonight, we'll drop into about the lower 60s with partly cloudy skies. Also an update, Hurricane Dorian just upgraded back to a Category 3 hurricane. Winds are now sustained at 115 miles per hour. It's still moving north at 7 miles per hour. Crazy to see this thing strengthening overnight. I'll have more of its track and more details on Dorian, plus that cold front moving through coming up in just a few short minutes.
All right, thank you, Paige. Well, today miners made their way to a courtroom in Charleston, West Virginia. Last time these miners were in that courtroom, they stood silently in the back. Not this time. Several testified about the coal that's sitting on the tracks they're blocking. Earlier, I was at those tracks with miners who listened in.
Your Honor,
listening to voices from hundreds of miles away. Miners gathered around a speaker patched into a courtroom in Charleston, West Virginia.
How do they think we're not owed no wages?
Perhaps
There's a hot goods order in place that keeps the coal they're blocking from leaving.
need to be segregated.
BJMS alluded that there's no way of telling if the coal in the train cars is from the hot goods
Here
period.
right now, Your Honor, right
They're trying to claim that the coal was run before any of this went on. Then that coal should be able to be sold. It's all mixed together. They can't separate it.
To be considered hot goods, the coal had to be mined during the period when the miners worked but weren't paid. Daryl Raleigh was joined by others who listened as the Department of Labor and BJMS questioned their former co-workers.
I'm honored that they did that for us, was able to go up there and do that for us.
Jeff Willig listened to his friends in Charleston testify.
A serious fight on this issue of hot goods.
He is frustrated that it has come to this.
And, you know, they're going to still try to push this issue of the train being moved. That's how I feel, without paying us.
The judge will have to decide whether or not to lift that order, but regardless of the outcome,
If we don't get paid, we're staying. Plain and simple.
We're going to stop it like we did before.
there was no decision made on whether the judge will lift that hot goods order. They will reconvene in the courtroom again tomorrow. Well, 2 months after Sykes announced they were laying off employees, good news emerges. In an announcement Wednesday, Sykes, along with state and local leaders, announced a new agreement with software company Intuit to employ 300 people here in Hazard and Perry County. The announcement will allow those who were laid off to stay on while also hiring many more.
I guess it's like in personal relationships, right? I mean, when you meet someone that you have the same ideals, I mean, it's special. It doesn't mean other people aren't either, but it makes that particular relationship just that much more special. So that's what we have with Intuit.
A job fair will be held at the HCTC Technical Campus Friday from 1 to 7 p.m. the Defford Owens building to start filling some of those 300 positions. Well, Governor Matt Bevin also visited Knox County today for an announcement on funding for infrastructure. Governor Bevin said $62,000 is going towards a drainage problem in Barberville on Johnson Lane. He added there will be an additional 17 road projects throughout the county for resurfacing. Those projects will total more than $760,000.
For those of you that are taxpayers, for those of you that contribute, you send your dollars to Frankfort and those dollars come back. And our job is to be wise stewards of that.
Bevin also said that his announcement in Leslie County was similar, saying there will be 13 road projects there as well. Well, 2 medical centers combined forces last month when Appalachian Regional Healthcare purchased Highlands Regional Medical Center. Today, healthcare workers and local leaders joined together for an official ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate the merger. Congressman Hal Rogers joined the event as a guest speaker, among others like Senator Johnny Ray Turner and Representative Ashley Tackett Laffrey. Joe Grossman says the merger is a win for everyone involved.
Bringing some of the specialists that may not be here, helping those specialists who are here to be more successful in their practices. So I think there's a lot of benefits there.
Grossman says the new partnership could eventually result in more jobs. Well, fall is right around the corner. With that comes all the fall festivities. Some farmers are preparing for many guests as hay rides, corn mazes, and pumpkin patches are popular during the season. One farmer says since it's been a dry summer, the pumpkins are growing well.
Actually, that's great. Drier, the better almost for pumpkins. They do not need a lot of water. That's been a major problem the last 2 or 3 years. It's too much water.
Hillview Stables opens the 3rd weekend of September. Well, one of the most iconic parts of Perry County is the Mother Goose House. It has even been highlighted on shows such as Oprah and HGTV's Most Outrageous Homes. Now, people have the chance to spend the night at the Mother Goose House as it's being turned into an inn. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to the manager of the inn for more details.
As the story goes, in 1935, George Stacy was home with his family eating goose for dinner when he had an idea.
When the carcass was laying on the table, the gentleman said to his wife, "I'm going to build you a goose house to match that." And so that's what he did.
And now, almost 80 years later, the Mother Goose House is a landmark in Perry County.
As a little girl, I went by it every day and was fascinated by it. So I grew up with the goose, is what I tell everybody.
You could look, but you couldn't stay. Until now. The Goose House is being turned into an inn.
Trying to do teasers, and word has gotten out. It's a small town, and everybody's so excited.
Many in the area are excited to be able to see the inside.
I would love to. I would love to just come up here and stay, just so I can say I stayed the night in the goose.
The goose will always stay in the builder's family, but Sherry Spradlin will turn it into an expansion of the Harmony House Bed and Breakfast.
The gentleman who built it has made it so that it will always be passed down from one generation to the next, so you have to be, a direct descendant.
Spradlin says there is much in the works. Ben Brahman, who created the Perry County Trail System, is even trying to tie the goose into his trails.
But he wants to get to work on doing a trail between the goose and the park so that it'll be connected.
Trying to bring more tourism to Perry County. In Hazard, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
I live in Perry County and I'd pay money to stay there. The Goose has 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Spradlin says she hopes to have the inn opened by the beginning of next month. Well, coming up at 11, tens of millions of dollars are headed to Kentucky to help fight the opioid crisis.
And after a hot day here in the mountains, it looks like we get a little bit of a break from the heat, but for how long? I'll have those details coming up.